little bit more reserved and you find different areas of play for yourself. Here we are back into game 3. Let's see what else these guys can manifest here on the LCS stage. Immortals versus Phoenix1.
I'm pretty interested to see if there are going to be any big adjustments in pick ban, because it has been relatively similar compositions being run by the teams, and you know, Zach has not come through pick ban at all yet. We'll see if he's going to get banned out yet again, or if Flame wants to go back to something, you know, kind of dominant in the top lane. You could go for the early reaction again, but I do think it could be a good idea to look for a counter pick for him as well with something like Fiora.
Zach attack is gone. Xayah as well. I don't think they care about the combo, but Xayah can be taken out to stop that.
And that is a change, because Xayah was not banned last time around. You know, has not been picked at all in this series so far. So perhaps worried about the Xayah Rakan combo. You don't obviously have to ban out both if you just are worried about the combo, not an individual piece.
Oh. A lot of respect to that Thresh. Props to the Ole.
Ole, you know, is a very strong, aggressive support player, and I think that Thresh is one of the stronger ones in the meta right now. Is even seeing a lot of success in solo queue and stuff. So it is something that you have to be very wary of, especially in combination with someone like an early ganking jungler such as the Elise. You can always set those up, and it can be pretty powerful.
Phoenix1 looking again for that Lulu. May even hit the Caitlyn right off the bat. They see jungler though. What are they doing?
I am actually so surprised that it's an a first pick Shen, and yet again they're so they're gonna take away Elise from Smithy, but this could be a Caitlyn Lulu, you know, first round. You can still counter pick top lane. I feel like some of the drafting priority has been a little bit surprising to me in this series. Shen is not something that was super successful in game 1 or anything like that. Kled should be fine into that. Zig also does play Gangplank, which I think is actually quite a good matchup against Shen, because you can honestly usually farm out the lane pretty freely and then kind of outscale. So there's certainly a lot of answers there, but it does allow Immortals to have, you know, more of kind of a proactive style, you know, that global ultimate and things like that.
Immortals just really aren't bothered by the Lulu. So you can have it, not something we necessarily want.
And
Shady likes it.
It's something that had been first pick worthy and ban worthy all through, you know, NALCS playoffs and even at MSI and things like this. So it is strange seeing the change in priority there, and even giving over the Caitlyn and the Karma. That's such a powerful combination there. So Phoenix1 is hoping to really get an edge in the jungle. I'm expecting to see jungle bans, you know, against Smithy, try to push him down the tiers, allow Inori to try to abuse him, whereas Immortals, I think they should be banning out AD carries. Put Arrow on something that you can bully in lane. You know, ban out the Varus, ban out some of these safer picks perhaps, and use this Caitlyn Karma lane to really try to abuse them.
Still have the Ashe to pick if we do go down the line of 80 carries. There's a Varus. Ezreal's on his side.
Yeah, the Ashe is a good call out. That could be the other ban. I mean, Olaf already taken away, so that's one expected pick. That's what Inori used as an answer into the Elise last time around. So you take that off the board. You could also go for something like a Kha'Zix if you're worried about that. And then you could see Immortals banning out Ashe or something along those lines. But I guess it is just the one pick that they're really kind of worried about, the Elise into Olaf matchup.
Syndra Ashe, final 2 bans in phase 2. Your last 2 picks here from, or last single pick, and then 2 picks from Immortals. Will it be the Cog? They have the Lulu, which almost spells Orianna in a pick, but there's still options.
It definitely does, but the other thing with that is if you pick Kog'Maw now, they can say, hey, you probably want Orianna.
Exactly.
We'll take Orianna, right? And that's something that you could do as a bit of a takeaway. Kog'Maw can be very effective. We actually saw some pretty wacky compositions at MSI, specifically from LPL representatives, where they actually did no shielders with a Kog'Maw and a Kled composition, and they essentially had so many threats that it made the Kog'Maw kind of have some freedom, and it was pretty funny to watch.
All right, so a little displacement.
Well, it's going to be Gragas jungle, actually, you know, with the Shen top.
That's true.
Gragas jungle, you know, we saw Dardoch play it earlier. Can be okay, but even in that game, he got quite behind on the early clear. A lot of champions do clear a lot faster than the Gragas, which is why we kind of more often see it in the top lane. That said, it still can be a very big playmaker. He can farm reasonably well once he has some levels, especially once you're on that Runic Echoes. And we have Pobelter taking the Oreo on away, kind of as expected. So, wow, Talia.
Not a bad matchup. Usually gets pushed in a little bit, but Pobelter wouldn't have too much trouble under his turret. We'll also have the help from McSmithy there. McSmithy not as aggressive on this Gragas early game, can still get some work done, and that's kind of what Inori is expecting from him as well, as McSmithy has stated. I'm going to try to be a leader for this team.
And it always makes it very scary for Kog'Maw, right? You don't have a dash. You have to play pretty safely against this Gragas. This is not Arrow on a Caitlyn. If you step forward and you get Body Slam Flash, Body Slam, Taunt Flash, these sorts of things, the follow-up is very easy with a Shockwave, and you can get taken out so quickly. That said, you kind of are expecting there to be some side lane focus, perhaps on the top lane, as Shen is not the strongest in the 1v1. Obviously, you can kind of like maintain your like even CS and that sort of thing. But if you could see Talia going up top, getting an advantage for Kled along with the Elise, that's something that they could look to focus. And you always want to attack the global instead of kind of going to the bot lane and having Shen ult in. You just go to him and try to take him out at the source.
Well, we will see. Flame from Jarvan to a Renekton, and now a Shen after having a great Renekton aggression game. Still be a little aggressive on Shen, but he's going to keep that idea of lane splitting down so the team can do well. Phoenix1 back to the Kled in the top lane for Zig, but changing it up with the Kog'Maw for Arrow. That protection from Shady's Lulu has been something he keeps going to. We'll see how we get into game 3 here as we load it onto the Rift for Immortals versus Phoenix1.
I'm definitely expecting P1 to play a little bit less crazy at level 1. I mean, Kled, yes,
running around in the jungle.
Yeah, I mean, Zig got bullied pretty hard, but you have to remember level 1 was Renekton getting a first blood, and then at 8 minutes they got aced. So
that's true.
It's like he started from so far behind that game that in a easier matchup and a more even matchup, you certainly expect to look a little bit differently. And Arrow going to be going with that Doran shield, try to survive some of the poke here from Cody-san. And Cody-san, feeling like they have a big edge in that 2v2, will go to the Doran's blade and try to be poking out and kind of pushing in.
And as of last game, we remember we were saying, Inori's not going to take Elise. Why would McSmithy do that? And now he's playing Elise this game. So as a takeaway as well from McSmithy, as he did have a pretty decent game on that Elise, Inori will put that back in his champion pool for this game.
And it can be smart because you've seen Smithy play it twice in a row now. Force him to show you something different. Force him to prove comfort on another champion. So that's definitely something he's looking to do. And Nori can certainly play the pick. It's not like it wasn't something he could do. It's just that in general, I see Nori as a player who prioritizes a lot of other junglers over this. And this start pretty interesting. P1 is doing the crazy level 1 stuff again, but they can get collapse on.
Oh, that's the ignite hit. Oh, last shot. 100 health left.
Here comes
not
the
going to
team.
burn through that.
Body slam. No, it doesn't decide to.
You had to say something, Hazel. Now we're going to get it. There's no blast cone as they took it out early. These are just going to walk themselves out, but they have disrupted a bit of the early jungle. Let's see how the start goes. Should be okay, but Raptors.
Yeah, I mean, Ryu is actually trying to steal away the Raptors. We'll see if he gets it. Got 3. That is very frustrating for Smithy because he doesn't get level 2 then off the small Raptors, and his blue buff is being stolen away. So if Inori could get right back over to his blue, he could get a 3 buff. He may just want to try to go for a full quadrant clear. There's a lot of different options here for him, but looks like he should have the 3 buff as Smithy's actually just going straight topside where his blue buff's already gone.
That's going to be painful once he recognizes the wards are there. I mean, actually, he knows, so he's going to change his path up here from wherever that situation happens. Bot lane getting pushed in to start things off. We'll see what Smithy's choice becomes with this level 1 here. May not get too much help on anything else. And Krugs and Gromper do pretty hard to do without a start.
Yeah, it definitely can be. And Smithy taking a little bit of a weird path. I mean, he starts Raptors, gets a lot stolen away, then goes to Wolves. Now back to what I assume is going to be red, but he's spotted out. Maybe he's, trying to... Yeah, it just seems like a pretty strange path overall.
They did just ping where Nori was, though, correctly on that, and they actually think there's going to be a gank coming towards that bot side. Careful. Ole says, I'm going in. I'm going to get a ward down to make sure that is the path. So good communication here early game for Immortals to make sure nothing too big comes of this.
Yeah, Arrow and Shady kind of struggling a bit here, though. Actually, 3 CS out of the first 3 waves. So 3 out of a possible... 12 or so CS there that he could have gotten. He has a few more to try to pick up here, but not only has he been getting pushed in, he's actually been missing the last hits on almost every single one. So whether that's Shady not prepping them properly or whatever it is, definitely some things going wrong in the bot lane.
Another situation not equal to last time, but that kill pressure here for Shady's down with that ignite. Immortals knows it, and they're playing even more aggressive. Now into the turret, a missed one there. That's another missed one. Oh no, stayed alive. The turret not doing enough damage just yet, and a happy Arrow is able to pick these up. Good job with Shady getting a little help. The minions get that one, and it is just tough for them right now. And is that even a situation you call Inori down to, or is it something you can stave off, get to 6, and even out?
I mean, Inori is coming
yeah,
down.
so.
You definitely can even it out. One of the big concerns, because they are staying healthy, so it's not, the CS lead is not the end of the world yet.
For sure.
It's not that big of a deal. What can become a problem is if you're constantly pushed in and you're missing a lot of that farm, then Caitlyn can have a free base and buy up a pretty good item, and then you either stay in lane and try to push it out with just your Doran shield, and he comes back with like a BF, or you match bases and you have a very poor item buy, and that's when it can sometimes really spiral out of control. Because for now, Arrow is essentially accepting that he'll lose some CS, but he'll keep health. Smithy is unspotted. He can body slam flash here.
Blast through. That's going to be Arrow almost going down. There's the heal. There's the help picks. A few more shots as the Peacemaker just to the left. They're going to go ahead and retaliate a bit.
Nori's here now, too.
Could find a kill. He's over a ward, so the team's going to know to pull down to that bot side. They haven't seen him yet, though. The minion wave. Oh, no, they did. They were baiting it in. I was going to say they're tunneled on the fight, but they knew the wave coming in would protect them, and they just let Inori hang out.
And I don't know if we're going to get to see this again, but no ignite used by Olay. Cody-san could have flashed forward as well instead of going for the Peacemaker that he missed, and I think that should be a free first blood. I think that with the execution from Smithy, if there's the instant ignite from Olay, Cody-san just flashes forward and looks for the autos instead of the Peacemaker, Arrow should be 100% dead. And then with his lane advantage, that becomes a tragedy because he gets pushed in on Kog'Maw, he has no buy, Caitlyn could be massively ahead. So really, that's a pretty big kind of error there from Immortals. It should have been a massive advantage. Turns out not really matter at all.
Almost happy with the situation of saying, yeah, we got him out of lane. Don't go too hard. Also could have been scared off there by Inori, but do as well feel that kill could have been locked in.
The thing is, it's like, yes, Inori could come down, but if you kill off the Kog'Maw right away, there's no return damage onto Smithy, and then you have a very healthy 3v2. So, that is the big argument for making that play. Of course, you can be scared of the Elise, and obviously he was.
Whoa. Just a quick body slam in, over the wall, Flame, a quick flash taunt. Very, very fast as they wanted to get that kill. Flashing Inori as well. Flashes all around, everyone's safe.
Yeah, trade of flashes there, top laner for the jungler. Inori should be okay with that, knowing that flashes are down for both Smithy and Flame. That gives Zig actually a lot of safety. As a jungler, you're usually okay to make a trade with a solo laner on that summoner because it gives your solo laner so much more safety in that 1v1 or even in the 1v2 with a potential gank, because Shen and Gragas not having flash, there's not much of a way that you should be able to kill off Zig.
This is great by Cody-san and Olay as well. You only be worried if they're not doing this, right? Caitlyn, Karma, you are supposed to push in a Kog'Maw lane, but it also feels good to be doing this to Last Split's MVP. It's still going to be scary late game if they allow him to keep farming like this. It doesn't mean he's been shut down just yet.
Yep, and they need to keep getting damage on the turret. You don't just push it in. You need to chip away that turret, look for that first turret gold. Ryu was threatening the actual surf down to bot lane and looking to turn that around, but he was on a ward, so Immortals backs up until he has to go back to mid lane.
A little push down from Zig, make sure his ward and himself are safe. That's it, oh my word. Just a bit of a gold lead here, about 400 for Immortals. No real objectives to grab. I do feel that they can get this Scuttle Crab and then work a bit of the dragon area. Ryu should see this ward pop if he stays in the brush. But no Gragas to be found as they see him in mid.
Yep. So nothing going to happen quite yet, but I mean, Inori is working his way down towards bot lane. Smithy is moving up towards mid, so definitely potential plays on both sides. Smithy not level 6 just yet, though, so not going to have that big ultimate available, and Inori will be a lot stronger than him.
He's got to find it, possibly on this camp right here. Everybody else has it on the right side except for P1's bot lane. Oh, Nori steals it away. No 6, yet 4 Smithy still. And Inori has already hit that a few camps ago.
Yeah, very nice. I mean, he saw that Smithy had already used his barrel. He's down a level, so he doesn't even have the smite combination. So Inori is able to take that away very easily. And continue his pressure, trying to take something away from Gragas really at every opportunity.
Basically sitting at 90% of that level 6. And waiting. Luckily, P1 not in a position to make a move that would require the explosive cast. And we haven't seen too much of this island just yet. No teleports, no stand uniteds, as those have just come up. But a lead here for Flame as he starts out on Shen in game 3.
Yeah, and Shen is pretty strong into these melee matchups early on before they build up much damage.
Yeah.
He has early tabbies, which is very good against Clyde here too. So he can, bully and push a little bit. But as you get more and more items, you get some of the arm pen, some of the lifesteal on Zig, those longer trades stop going your way.
Maybe first, or I should say second time, the junglers catch a glimpse of each other. Here, quickly smited out. Pobelter has one for himself. Give one over to Smithy.
Yeah, I think Smithy actually meant to take it because it was the smite at the same time as the auto, but Pobelter got it. It's still pretty nice for Pobelter if he can actually, get in range, not just for the true damage and that burn on the red, but also a lot of it is about the HP regen that you get from that red buff. So when you're out of combat, yeah. And it's going to help you out against Ryu, who's going to be trying to poke you down.
Hits from Zig. Might even look to get a Scarl reset on this one because he knows it would be safe, but stays out of the competition for now, and Flame nicely pulling it back to the turret. He's going to be able to soak up at least 2 waves on this.
Yeah, and one of the smart things about that from Flame, the little move to the side, was actually to delay the minions from getting to the turret.
Yeah.
He pulls the aggro, and then you actually have that wave denying your own wave. So denying away last hits and experience and putting Zig in this position where he has to move up very vulnerable.
And that's actually causing Zig to back. He's going to get a fresh wave to himself. Obviously, the teleport will come in, but look how far up Flame is. That is nice. 88 to 65. You can see the discrepancy there now. It doesn't mean Zig can't clear that wave up when it gets to him, but things are big, and it may mean that wave pushing could be Flame teleporting safely to another lane.
Yeah, I mean, they have yet to use that stand united, so you definitely want Smithy with this ultimate, with his flash available, to be looking for a play and use that in combination with the Shen. So ideally here, Shen shoves out top lane, Smithy goes bot lane, body slam flash with the Shen ult coming in onto the Kog'Maw, take down arrow, and then try to go for that early Infernal. That's the kind of play you want to see.
So is this actually now on Immortals? Obviously, they're scaling up a little bit as well. I was going to say to make a move, and they are going to. Pobelter hit over Unraveled Earth, but they're able to drop Inori immediately as they start working the ground, forcing the flash now onto Ryu. A great series of plays in favor of Immortal.
Yeah, great job. I mean, they knew Inori was in that bush. Smithy gets vision, immediately takes him out with that play, and now they're going to execute on the Shen ultimate. You can see him backing off. He's getting ready for the dive. P1's bot lane already had to back off. They're going to have to sacrifice the turret, and then they can even look for Infernal here too. So P1 really kind of giving up everything.
Basically answering the question I was just about to ask. When is the move made? You know you're more powerful than this Kog'Maw, and you will be for quite some time. When do you attack? And it was instant for Immortals in the mid lane.
Exactly. I mean, it's as fast as possible, really is the answer. When you have the playmaking abilities up, Body Slam flashes almost unavoidable. It's very, very hard. The only way you can really avoid that is as soon as you see the Body Slam animation, you flash, but then there's the mind game of sometimes they won't even flash with it, and then you waste your summoner. So that's something they have to go for, and P1 is hoping to capitalize on base timers, because although Immortals is stronger right now, they just base. So if they get in this Infernal, that's very good for them. Smithy gonna look for the steal.
The sweeper cooldown almost gets it on the barrel, gets closed up. Looks like Smithy may be able to get himself over the wall. Inori kind of wanted the kill, but then bailed out knowing it would be a problem. Great heal by Arrow, getting there in time. The wall coming in as Ryu starts to weave the team some kills, and that gets Arrow going. The Kog'Maw finds a kill after a
strenuous then flash.
Basic Smithy very low. No delivery. That's going to be taking one down, and there goes Ryu. A kill picked up and the retribution back. So Pobelter gets a little extra gold. The no follow over the Voidoos, but what a hectic fight to get some kills on the board.
Yeah, they do get some kills. A critical that Zig actually interrupted the Stand United with his own ultimate. You can hear that global sound going off and stopping the Shen from getting in there and making it go even worse for his team. They do go down as far as gold, but they get the Infernal, and they get a kill onto Arrow, which is really the target you want. But this Hex, very smart from Shady. He was going to look for the barrel over the wall, then body slam in and smite it. So denying that combo, very big. And now, as you see, Shen goes for the ultimate, Zig blowing his to interrupt, and then just knows he has to retreat. And the ensuing fight, the commitment here from Olay, he thinks he can take him out, but then Arrow there with the heal. The ultimate comes in from Shady. Olay is trapped out and does go down. Pobelter very strong though, and is able to come in and clean up a couple kills, which was so big for Immortals, because getting Pobelter going, I mean, it's been the strong mid laner that has been winning these first 2 games.
Back to the phase, items coming out. A fist for Flame as he starts to get a little more HP, looking for that Titanic again. Infinity Edge finished up by Cody-san. Blade of the Rune Kings we saw from Arrow after these few kills here, and everybody got a little piece of an assist there, except for the top laners. They again stay on their island. We'll see what they can provide here.
And Flame did expend his TP as well as the Stand United in the
double.
same play. So P1 actually has the global advantage right now with their teleport still available from Zig. So, you know, ideally they want to set up some sort of play before those cooldowns come back for Flame. And Immortals is going to want to try to play safely. If you have Flame right on Zig, you can play aggressively because you know he can interrupt that TP, but otherwise you have to show respect.
Like anything is going to happen top anytime soon with these teleports being up. Mid lane seems to be the game now, coming in for Immortals. And the wave here, they do have a few wards behind this turret, so if they need to make a move, they can. But that move may just be away here as they see Talia coming around the side.
They're just trying to wave clear this out. Smithy does have Flash very soon, and that's when he can go for another big play if he wants to. That should coincide pretty well with the Stand United. So, you know, Immortals is going to want to try to make another play around that timing. And once again, they are in a situation where you don't want to give your opponents too much time to scale. They have a very, very strong team fight this time, but still, it's a Kog'Maw and it's Arrow, so you don't want to allow him to just kind of free farm and delay.
And nothing once again in mid. Bot pushed out by Ryu. That ult is up. He actually is going to be routed by all the members of Immortals, so he won't be creating anything to block them off. But Zig, however, is roaming down. A good hit onto Ryu, instantly found in the jungle. So like, Smithy going for a full plan himself. He wants to be the caller. Call is made.
I mean, he's doing great. This is another flash, another kill. So, you know, 3 times now he has gone for those body slam flashes. It has worked out quite well for the team.
Yeah.
And 3 kills all over the Pobelter. Plus he gets the blue buff off of Ryu there. That is so good for Immortals. And here it is. They see him over the wall, body slam, flash, right in, ult him down. Pobelter refreshes his blue. Very, very good.
Feels good. We wondered what that synergy would be like between those two, and they seem to move pretty in sync to start things off.
Yeah, I mean, these are guys who won a championship together on CLG. They have played together in the past and know how each other play, and so far they're looking very good together.
As we said before, it takes a little bit of that pressure off of Pobelter in the mid lane, allowing him to, once again, use that very vast champion pool. Split after split, he would be one of the guys who played the most unique champions. Now, kind of Ryu and others can say they do that, but it's the calls now that can be given to Xmithy and that mechanic play put back into Pobelter's hands.
Definitely. I mean, Pobelter is a strong mechanical player. He's a guy who has a lot of flexibility.
Double flash.
Oh my god, the damage.
Super double flash. Xmithy finds himself in a real bad spot. Living Artillery bops him on the head, takes him down, and Nori is gone as well. Jungler's out of the fight. Top lane's getting pushed in, and we just had a back from Zig, as he may have to teleport back to the top side to save that turret. Mid lane getting pushed in by Immortals, and man, things are happening in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, another kill on Pobelter, but Arrow gets the counter kill, and they actually burst Smithy through the Courage of the Colossus shield, the Karma shield, the Orianna shield, and the Stand United. Like, he had so many shields, and he just got taken out, and now Cody-san in trouble.
Want to shield with your shield? Flash over the wall. This is Ryu. He's got movement speed around the rocks. The jungle is where Talia lives. Throw another rock. One more. One, maybe. Oh, okay. I was going to say, if he got the kill on that, Zig ults in, doesn't even get the hit for assist. But it was to Arrow. So the double team there, 5-3 as Pobelter working on the side lane. The team's still trying to get something as they go for Rift Herald.
They are spotted, though, and Shen is back, so they're going to have to back off the play. Pobelter is kind of just 1v1 against Inori in the bot lane, and Inori cannot deal with him whatsoever. So Ryu's going to have to come down. We'll see if they look to go for a play here. Pobelter could 1v2 against Shockwave.
Oh, the true surf from coast to coast. Ryu going to Rift Herald all the way down and making himself present in the bot lane.
That was actually very well done by P1, hitting the cocoon right into that Talia flip, getting so much damage and bursting down Pobelter, because if he lands a Shockwave, he actually 1v2s that.
Absolutely. I was waiting for the damage. So was Ryu as he backed off slightly from the play. Inner Flame, looking for the Soul Flare Karma shot there with the Mantra on. Looks like this is going to fizzle out. Obviously, Inori is below, and Dragon is to be taken. Immortals getting so many last game. P1 says, we're not going to let that happen again.
Yeah, P1 has the first Infernal this time around. They're already doing a lot better than the last time. But still, you know, it is a significant gold advantage for Immortals, and it's gold on a lot of their key members. But P1 are looking to try to force this. Stand United is not available, so they're feeling more confident to play aggressive.
They're trying to get Xmithy out of the fight first. Like, they don't even care about Ole's health. They're saying if we get the jungler low, he can't get in the fight. How about dead if they can? But a great ultimate from Xmithy before he goes down. He'll be able to get away from the Cathy and some ride. And there's the double kill from Cody's son. Another one coming in from Pobelter. And now they're on the chase for Inori. Dragon picked up by Inori. So that going over. P1 still getting a little bit out of the fight, but losing so much and more to come.
Yeah, I mean, they get something, but they thought they could force. Stand United is down. Pobelter's in base, but he gets back in time, and he's able to get so much done. Hits the key ultimate and has really been so big for the team this game.
Ooh, the flash out as well. The turn from Ole as soon as Inori's Spiderlings died off. That's what he needed. A Volatile Spider not giving him enough damage. He'll get Scryer's Bloom back, but like we said, what is to come? 2 more turrets in for Immortals.
Yeah, this gold lead is actually insane at 20 minutes. Over 7,000 up. They're pushing the top lane turret as well. Inori still caught here. Probably going to go down to Pobelter. Yeah, that's that. Oh. Pobelter had time to go kill a turret, casually walks back across the map, collects that gold. Thank you very much. 6-1 and 3. Pobelter is so fed. They're going to lose top 2. I mean, this game might just be over with this gold lead.
They're calling Flame to the top side now. This is actually the chance that P1 does have to play around with some time, but Xmithy is there immediately. So the time they do waste in the top doesn't get a kill. That means the people that back from Immortals have all the time to get back to lane. We'll see this top side once again.
And I mean, Flame is at a very strong point right now. He's up in farm. He has his completed Titanic Hydra, and that is actually something you really have to respect. Zig underestimating the damage. A little bit overkill in that flash, but I mean, underestimating the damage, thinking he can play aggressively. He's trying to trade out his mount, then remount, and have the HP advantage. That's what he's going for there.
So risky.
But with the Titanic Hydra and the taunt, you can actually burst him down before he can get the damage off for the remount.
Well, I'm sure there's kind of a few situations you play that in, you're like, oh, I think I played it wrong, I'll try it again. But what if Flame does play it even more correct, right?
Yeah.
Plays that counter onto Zig, it just gets that much more out of hand, and already it's getting tough.
And a lot of the thing is, when you play against a lot of Shens, you know, especially if you're playing in solo queue and stuff, so many people will simply go for like a Sunfire Cape first, right? And the damage is very different than it is against someone with a completed Titanic Hydra. So you're not always used to these different damage thresholds and that the different builds can bring. And he obviously underestimated there, but they're looking for a TP. They're going to try to get Pobelter, whole team coming up.
Oh, there's the hit. It did pull Inori top side. He's going to be able to bring it back to himself. The dissonance was not used for Pobelter. Wall actually helps him out a little bit and allows Immortals to come back in. Ryu stopping his team from getting a full engage. A nice Soul Flare to stop and slow BP1 as to try to get out of this. The back line exposed to Xmithy. Now the front line to the rest of the team. A double kill dissonance. Coming in for Pobelter. 3 members of P1 in their eyes. Bot lane pushing, mid lane pushing, and Immortals is looking for another turret.
Yeah, they're going to get it. P1 cannot stay around at all. That Stand United was so clutch from Flame. Not only is it about the shield, he gets in, taunts forward, absorbs the Kled ultimate, then Orianna, who's super fed, can turn around and put all the damage out. They can even continue to go. I mean, still 17 seconds on both the soul laners, really, and they're going to get an inhibitor.
Yeah, there's no ultimates up on them either, so they are only home guarding to this inhibitor turret. I think they'll pull off here as nobody has started to step forward. They're showing the play they're going to make. At 23 minutes on the dot, Immortals breaks P1's base.
12,000 gold up. They are just looking so good this game.
This again.
And this is a play you have to be so fast on. You know, the Stand United coming in, sidestep on that cocoon. There it is. So the taunt forward absorbs that Kled ultimate. Pobelter's able to move back, then go forward with the damage as the rest of the team comes in. And they're just so strong at this point that if you don't eliminate Pobelter or Cody-san right off the bat, you cannot actually fight them. So Smithy has the confidence to move forward. So does Flame. And just look at that dissonance damage. Whew. He is so far ahead of Ryu. It's actually insane. Over 3,000 gold up, you know, closing in on 4,000 gold advantage just on that one player. And then, you know, almost 3,000 gold in the 80 carry here too. Like,
yeah.
Immortals is almost at an unlosable point.
I mean, there's items ahead. Adaptive helm now onto Smithy. Getting all the items we need. Another Ardent Sensor for Cody-san. And it's not even in a kind of defensive position this time. Cody-san's using that to go forward, knowing it's giving him even more power. And the team is behind him as well.
Adaptive Helm is actually pretty good against the Leah because of those rocks. It's constant damage coming out. And I do believe it actually works on the mixed damage, you know, of Bladed Rune King and stuff too in the Pogmod W. So,
whoa.
Cool.
Well, that hurt Pobelter. He took a few of those Bio Arcane Barrage shots from Arrow. They do have to be wary. Once a team like this is pinched in, kind of gives P1 an advantage to hit up a lot with what Talia can do, but also Flame, Smithy, Pobelter can get one hell of an ultimate if they can get all of P1 around an inhibitor turret.
Yeah, and in my opinion, the play here for Immortals is you go to Baron, you send Shen bot. If they try to contest, then you just TP, you ult in, right? There's no TP on Zig, and they know that because of the recent play in topside. And if they send 5 there, you just back off and you allow Shen to actually push into this turret. But Flame is not pushing. He's actually farming wolves right now. You really want to be shoving up and making the most out of this map pressure that you have.
Well, to the book, Shen bottom. Here we go. Flame's going to start pinging on the turret. Now they try and keep eyes on Nori and Arrow, but also make them think, you guys have to fight us for Baron as they start to get in position. Zig's called down to the bot side here. Remember, it's a double teleport, a Stand United, and TP for Immortals to work around the map with, and they will start the Baron. They're going to start pressuring P1 into the fight.
And this is still pretty early. I mean, Smithy's taking a lot of damage from this. This is not like a 30, 40-minute Baron, and P1 looking for the engage. Stand United is available, though.
Whoa.
They don't even need it. They're just going to try to back off, and Shen is staying on the inhibitor turret there. Good disengage and use of the Ghost from Pobelter.
Very nicely done. Zig thinking he would get in with the ultimate. Really the first time we've seen him on him on his Kled kind of be routed, not able to get those ultimates in. It seems like Immortals knew those picks were going to happen. They haven't minded Lulu. They haven't minded Kled. They came prepared for this game. Now they're heading on to the Baron. 12-4, 26 minutes in, and they do have a few members on that right side of Baron to stop it. However, they're just letting kind of Flame do his thing here.
Yeah,
not getting the fight they want, and they're not pressuring what they have to do.
And Flame can continue to push like this. He doesn't know where everyone is, so he is going to back off for now, allow them to reset. But, I mean, you should go get your buys, and then you just keep pushing this advantage because he's up a couple levels. Kled is not really going to be able to run him down with like a Black Cleaver and a Hex Shrinker. He's not going to have enough damage to do anything. And you should be able to eventually whittle down those inhibitors.
Should. They'll make it. That's going to help a little bit. Cody-san will eat that Acathian surprise. Not a problem for him at this point in the game. He'll be able to heal back up with Warlords quite easily, as now they're pushing mid and top, able to work 2 lanes. Bot lane is pushing away from Immortals, so P1 has a bit of breathing room there, but already open inhibitor. Not like it matters too much.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the taunt flash, take down Arrow, and now they can probably get at least this top inhibitor. Right? You'd think that they could move down and take the second inhibitor tier 2, because their item advantage is so massive.
A lot of it at this point has been that safe play. We did talk about the third game and how some things change. They're not hesitation, but more tempered or measured in their engages here to make sure that they don't go down, going for that second inhibitor.
Yeah.
They're going to do it safe, go for the wave, then push themselves.
They certainly have been very careful. I mean, it's game 3.
For sure.
You definitely don't want to throw away the advantage. You know you're massively ahead, so it makes sense. You know, why risk it kind of situation. That said, the longer you do kind of do things like this, there comes a point where you should push the edge because you give your opponents a lot of chances to come back in. And here should be that taunt flash coming in. Yep, there it is. Nails it, and Arrow taunt flash into the trap. No chance to actually flash and get out. Not much chance really left in this game, you have to feel, as Cody Sun's going to go back and buy. He's going to be at least a full item ahead of Arrow, and so strong in the team fight.
Bot lane doing a bit of the stepping up that we looked for them to do here in Cody Sun and Ole. Pobelter as well, showing the consistency in these plays, making sure he's top KDA. It seems like Xmithy has relieved a bit of the leader pressure from him in the mid lane.
I mean, the last 2 games, Cody Sun and Ole have matched up very well against Arrow and Shady, and this is
absolutely,
you know, Shady, yes, he's a newer support, but Arrow is the MVP, and they're doing very well. Like, the amount of growth that we've seen from Cody Sun and Ole has been pretty incredible. From, like, you know, all the memes and stuff about Cody Sun feeding early in the season to where he has come now. I think he's actually, you know, definitely one of the top half AD carries.
Airborne is Ryu. He hit the ground, and he hit the ground running. He's going to be able to make a double taunt on the backside. Shady and Nori both locked up in the fight as Arrow is looking for safety, and he can only find it next to Zig. They're trying to get out alive, but a flash is forced by Zig, and Immortals basically owns the map. Yeah,
they can just run it down mid, take down that inhibitor turret, get the last inhibitors here, and then they can look to end the game. There's no way for P1 to really respond. They're just going to go straight for the Nexus.
And they're even taunting on. They know they can take the fight and the turrets all together. Super minions crashing in from the top side. Inhibitor in the mid to be taken down. Looks like they're going to walk on by it. There goes Arrow doing what he can now with the Cathian surprise. It's not going to be enough. And Immortals, after going down in game 1, are able to take 2 of their own and take down P1 on day 1 of the summer split.
It's a big win for them. New team, Smithy coming in. You're playing a 3rd place team from last split. They lose game 1, but they're able to come back and win. And Smithy was so good in this last game. I mean, yes, it's Pobelter who got extremely fed, and he's the one who's going to look like the star in the later stages of the game. And Pobelter played very well, but Smithy moving around the map with body slam flash after body slam flash, finding picks, finding these advantages, and really pushing the pace for his team. I was so impressed by how he played. This is the best game I've seen from Smithy in a long time, honestly.
And you can kind of say this for both. Shady has been there, but awesome to see both teams with, say, acquisitions do well with those new people in the spots. Xmithy coming into a spot, Shady now confirmed in that starting spot. Both actually showing well, which means great things for these teams, because usually that first 5-week falter can put a team in a spot they don't want to be with a new player.
It definitely can, and I mean, Flame showing up here too for Immortals. Really, the whole team did play quite well. You know, Flame going up against Zig, who I consider to be one of the better top laners in North America for sure. And 2 games in a row, you know, dealing with the Kled very, very well. You know, the Renekton game you can obviously blame on level 1 First Blood and things like this, but Flame smashed him again on Shen, and that was like a straight up 1v1 solo kill. There was no big advantage that was gifted to him. He earned it on his own and played very, very well.
Flame's strength in the side lane here in his picks, kind of the same minus the Jarvan game, as he had to come and fight with the team more, really allowed P1 to pick that Lulu and Immortals not to care about it. If they're never fighting that squad 4 on the side, Flame's always causing to distract and have that Lulu. They gave it to him every time and still couldn't make a Juggernaut comp.
Yeah, I mean, and it's really just the fact that they're able to play to their game. They're able to push the pace early and not allow Arrow to kind of get to that stage where he can take over. I mean, even from the very beginning, how hard they were getting punished in lane by Ole and Cody Sun was very impressive. I mean, he had 3 CS off the first 2.5 waves, had been getting bullied out quite hard. And then you add into that the gank from a Smithy, the movement around the map from him, capitalizing on plays everywhere. They just got put so on the back foot. You can lose 1 lane, you can maybe lose 2 lanes. You can't lose all lanes and be behind in the jungle and expect to win.
Right, always having speed at that support. Immortals all over the map. We're actually going to see the last fight here as they were able to push in and be the catalyst to the victory. The strength of Shen, as we said, the mobility. I'm sorry, this was the Gragas engage.
Yeah, and everywhere. Once again, I mean, Gragas had been big all game. Body slam flash, knocks in Pobelter. He's taken out. In the backside, you have Flame zoning out 2, hits a double taunt, and Pobelter pushing them all back. I mean, P1 was just so weak in comparison that they couldn't stand up to an even man fight, or even really like a 5v4 in a lot of circumstances, because of the power of Immortals. And they knew that they had the advantage. They knew that they could just go straight in and end the game. And Arrow even kind of walks up here, and there's actually a hidden trap under one of those minions that he actually walks forward. See, he steps on that trap and then does get taken out immediately. So definitely a bit of a frustrating game for him. Wasn't really able to make anything happen.
Very interesting to see Immortals start this. I should say good for Immortals. Not interesting. Any team could do this, but to start off this strong, and teams are closing out games. Yeah, there was a bit of hesitation. Expect that coming into week 1, but nothing like we've seen previously where teams just flounder about and say, I think we might need to force a Scary Baron 50-50 to win. None of that stuff. Pretty clean endings. And for a first-hand account on that series, let's hear from Freak and Immortals' new jungler.